Good day, good people. Dr. Amber here, back with a new video, here to talk to you all about conflict. And if I had to title this series, it would be Conflict is Normal, but Why is it so hard? And I think it's a great place for us to start having conversations here on this channel, because this is something that I hear often as a communication expert, as someone who has been helping adult learners become more effective communicators for almost 20 years, or for over 20 years. This is the number one thing that I feel folks are challenged by. And fundamentally, they just don't know how to say the hard thing. But we'll get into that later. This video in particular, I just want to talk about the nature of conflict. It's something that we've all experienced a time or two in our lives. It is something that is a natural byproduct of sharing our time and thereby sharing our lives with other people. And I think once we remember that and we just keep that in mind, it helps us approach it from a healthier perspective, because I should expect that if I'm sharing my life with someone, even more so if like romantically linked, this is my partner, it just is unrealistic to think that we are going to always agree on everything all the time. But if we understand that conflict is just natural, it's going to happen, that we have our own minds, we have our own thoughts and feelings about things, then we should expect that, we're not going to always be in agreement. So that's the first thing that I want to say. One, I just want you to remember that conflict is normal. It's natural. It's not that big of a deal. What I tell my kids, though, as they're learning how to manage their thoughts, feelings, and emotions as they're growing up, is that conflict is not a bad thing. It's just how you decide to respond to it is what makes the difference, okay? How do you respond to conflict? That's what makes the difference, and that's what I'm going to help you with in this series of videos. So first, we've established that conflict is natural. Two, it is a sign of health. If you disagree with someone on occasion, or y'all go at it, or you have, intense fellowship, as we like to call it sometimes, again, that's a natural, normal byproduct of sharing your time and space with someone, whether it be personally or professionally. Why I think it's a sign of health also is it means that someone is being honest in saying like, hey, I don't agree with this, or this is how this behavior that you exhibited made me feel. We're able to talk about it in a way that reflects the fact that because I care about the relationship, I'm going to say something. If you find yourself in a scenario where y'all don't ever have, the boat is never rocked, y'all don't never, again, have some type of disagreement, I'm going to raise my eyebrow about that, because I'm going to think that someone is not telling the full truth about what they're feeling. Quick story time. Many years ago, I had a friend, and she and I were really close for a long time. We hardly ever had disagreements, hardly ever. And the one fight, the one impasse that we had reached in our relationship was so significant, it ended the friendship. I'll tell you that whole story another day, but we were never able to recover from how badly this situation impacted us. And that's sad and it's unfortunate. And as I had looked at the friendship, I was just like, gosh, we never had a fight. We never. And then I realized, oh, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing that you are in a situation with someone where y'all don't ever approach difficult conversations. And so I learned that from that experience, that what I'm saying to you is true. So I don't know this in just my academic mind and in my studied mind, also in my lived experiences, that if, again, we don't ever have issues, that there's something that's lying underneath the surface there, and a lot of things kind of came out and were revealed later that we were basically we both looked at the situation completely different, and that was what impacted our approach to the conflict. And then also, if you are never able to confront it, then you don't know how to practice being in conflict with someone, so that way you both can get better at it and be good at it, because again, it's a natural part of the human experience, of your relationship experiences. So you want to embrace it and not reject it. And then finally, conflict is beneficial. I mean, I learned so much about myself through that friendship and when it ended and how it ended. Sometimes I have this vision of like a plant. And I don't even have a green thumb, but when you think about a plant being in a pot, once the plant, you water it and it grows, you have to move it out of that small pot that it was in into a bigger one. And that process can be messy. It can be uncomfortable. It can just feel like there's all this dirt and all this stuff that's falling out that I didn't anticipate, but it's what's necessary in order for the plant to bloom and to blossom. So if you think about your relationships like that plant, sometimes conflict is the thing that helps you move from one pot to the next. Not necessarily one person, but just being able to say, there are some changes that need to happen here, or we have to be able to talk about hard things. And then how we both handle those conversations reflects, I think, how we both feel about each other and about the relationship unto itself. It's not easy. Conflict is uncomfortable. It can be difficult and hard to process and work through sometimes. But I think, again, how you respond to it is what makes the difference. So this is just some basic stuff that we're going over here. In this series, we're going to talk about how to handle a conflict. Like, what do I even do? So, okay, Dr. Amber, I'm listening to you, but what do I do? How can I be better at the way that I handle conflict? If you're interested in that, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next video in the series. And I hope that you stay along for this ride and for this journey. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.